So this is a quick video around how you can improve the immersion in your simulator and stop some of the glare on the screen. So my simulator is based in the box room and it's just by a window, so the window light reflects off the screen, and in particular off the left hand side screen that's facing the window, and it can, particularly when it's quite sunny, be really quite annoying and distracting. So I wrestled with what I could do to reduce the glare and also how to improve the immersion, so the feel that you're actually in the flight when you're flying the simulator. What I came up with was a curtain. So what you need is a flexible curtain rail, so plastic curtain rail where the fittings allow you to screw upwards. So if you were fitting it in front of the window, you'd be screwing it onto the ceiling. In this case, you're screwing it onto the ceiling. And ideally, you also wanted to look at one where the fittings allow for a kind of quick release. A lot of them come with that. So you can see here, it makes it a lot easier to fit once you've got the fittings on, where you can just open the fitting, push the rail against the fitting, and then close the fitting, and it locks it in place. So what you're looking for is either the longest or the second longest. I think they come as 250 centimeters, or 2.5 meters, or 280 centimeters, so 2.8 meters, depending how long you need it to go around the simulator. You need it to be slightly more over, I think, on the window side, so that you don't get glare behind the curtain on the screens. So a couple of things I would say. There's a kind of safety question when you're fitting the thing to the ceiling. The screws are quite short, and so they're unlikely to go through the plasterboard. But it's worth just checking. So if you look here, this is one of the they're quite cheap. You can get them from your local hardware store, Homebase, B&Q, whatever. And this one actually checks where wooden studs are, but also importantly where electricity is. So you just move it backwards and forwards around where you're intending to screw in the curtain rail, and that's better to be safe than sorry. Just check there's nothing there that you're likely to be screwing into. It's unlikely, unless somebody has done some DIY and embedded something quite close to the surface. You should be fine. So check over with this first to check that where you think you're going to fit the curtain, there's nothing that is going to cause major issues. So you need to just offer up the plastic track to the ceiling, just to see roughly where you might be able to fit it, and then just mark a very, very rough line with a pencil around, it doesn't have to be fancy, in a rough semicircle around from the side of the simulator back behind your chair and back around towards the other side of the simulator. And the fittings for the rail will say roughly how wide apart the stanchions need to be. And you might need to buy, you can buy packs of stanchions if you don't think it's going to be solid enough, just to add a couple more. But for me, the pack had enough standoffs. I just evenly spaced them out along where I thought the rail would be. Then you can drill some holes and put in some small roll plugs. I recommend that rather than just screwing into the plasterboard, because the curtains can be quite heavy and you don't want them to end up in a pile. So you fit the curtain rail, as I say, to the stanchions, and then what you want to do is measure from the top of the curtain rail down to the floor, or as near to the floor as you can get. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't actually have to be on the floor. My recommendation is that you get some really solid blackout curtains. So something with some sort of lining, something that's going to definitely stop the light, nothing too thin. And if you then just fit the clips for the curtain and then just clip them over. So I've got two. I use both curtains. So I bought a pair of curtains. I think I got mine from Dunelm Mill. A pair of blackout curtains, long curtains, and that also means that you can actually pull them round behind you. And I've got a VR wire that needs to come through to the headset, and so it's quite handy to have a space at the back in the middle, and you can just hold that together with some kind of clip. I use just a normal kind of clipboard clip to hold the curtains together. And then when you're not using them, you can just push them back out of the way and then use the tie backs that will come with the curtains often. Or in this case, I've got a black tie back just to hold it in place out of the way when you're not using it, so you can't really tell that it isn't just another one of the curtains that's tied back. Really accessible, really easy to use, makes a massive difference in terms of the glare obviously, but also the immersion. And I hope you found that useful. That's all I've got for you today. If you liked it, then please feel free to like the video, leave a comment, because I'm really interested to know what you think about these videos, or subscribe if you want to be updated on any other videos, and I'll catch you next time. About immersion and how you can improve the immersion in your simulator through using